I'm sure you've all heard the saying, you are what you eat. However, have you stopped to identify what that actually meant? Today, I'll discuss how replacing ultra-processed foods with nutrient-dense whole foods can help improve your overall health. As an exercise science student and someone who has had the transformation from eating ultra-processed foods, such as in this second slideshow, I had a lot of belly fat. I was around 216 pounds. This was taken around March of the 30th, as well as that, I was very sluggish, tired, angry. Not only that, but I lacked a nutrition knowledge of, just eating good. However, when I made the switch from whole foods, I was able to lose around 14 pounds. Not only that, I felt more energized. I feel more energized, and this was 3 months later. Not only that, but I was able to educate myself with learning how to cook, meal prep, as well as, identify all the foods that I was consuming inside of my body. And because of this, I was able to learn that the foods that we eat is going to ultimately significantly impact your body system as a whole. As a source by the PubMed Central states that they had at least 20 randomized controlled people tested. 10 were in whole processed foods, and then 10 were whole nutrient-dense whole foods. And there was a significant difference in the weight and gain pound. As the people that ate ultra-processed foods gained around 4 pounds, as to where the people that ate whole foods were much more slimmer and lost around 2 to 3 pounds in that 3-week frame. Many of us rely on ultra-processed foods because they are quick, convenient, affordable. However, we do not see the downside of these, which are going to be very high in saturated fats, very high in sodium, as well as very high in sugars. And because of this, they're going to be lacking in protein, fiber, and other essential nutrients, making it very easy for you to overindulge in these foods, as well as the multiple additives that these ingredients have, making it very harmful for your body. Replacing ultra-processed foods with nutrient-dense whole foods can help improve your overall health by providing your body with the essential nutrients, increasing satiety and fullness, as well as reducing the risk of chronic diseases. Today we will discuss the effects of what ultra-processed foods do to the body, as well as the solutions that we are able to make at the government, community, and individual level, helping us implement these practices into our life. But before we step into what ultra-processed foods are, let's first identify what they are and how they affect the body. Ultra-processed foods are very high in fat, as we said earlier, very high in sugars, and very high in sodium. Not only that, but the PubMed Central states that how you are able to identify is that if you see that these ingredients are not in the kitchen, such as a high fructose corn syrup, it is a very ultra-processed food, as well as having multiple additives into the ingredients list. The consumption of ultra-processed foods is going to negatively impact your health and reduce the risk of your life in the long run. The first effect is going to be in poor nutrition. And poor nutrition, but by the source that the PubMed Central states that in poor nutrition is going to lack in both macro and micronutrients. Macro, which is going to be needed in bigger amounts to provide the body with energy, such as proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, as well as micronutrients, which are needed in smaller amounts, but however, they play a big role in how your body is able to utilize these things and function properly, such as minerals and vitamins that help with red blood production, metabolism, contraction of the heart and skeletal muscles, and much more. Next is going to be the decrease of satiety and fullness, because the source by the PubMed Central states that the lack of protein and fiber, which is the main driver for your digestive system to slow down, and especially your hormones, your hunger hormones from ghrelin and leptin. Ghrelin is the hunger hormone to signal your body when it is time to stop eating, and leptin is the hunger hormone that signals your body when it is time to eat. And if these things are not correlated with your brain, then it can lead to overindulgence and lead to possibly weight gain or obesity. Next is going to be the increase of chronic diseases. The source by the PubMed Central in an article say that over the past 50 years, American health has declined and has been one of the worst countries to manage their health in the long run. And because of this, 71% of Americans are obese. 2.7 of them are physically active, leading that 100 million people are overweight or obese, making it very harmful for the body. As well as not only that, but ultra processed foods are much more dangerous than cigars, making it really, scary for all of us. Luckily enough, we're able to make solutions at the government, community, and individual level to help reduce our dependency on ultra processed foods. At the government level, one of the sources by the PubMed Central states that, because of the increase of knowledge and the expenditure of our knowledge, many believe that nutrition knowledge is able to increase, making it, for us consumers, be more aware of the foods that we eat. This is because policymakers can establish nutrition education, as well as have better marketing labels on the front of products, not misleading, ultra processed foods with higher protein, higher fiber, but it being very high in calorie, not making it very healthy for you, as well as the additives that it has. So like having a better branding in front can be better for you. Next, at the community level, we can help support small businesses, as well as support farmers that provide foods with, fruits, vegetables, and leaner cuts of meat, making it accessible within the community. At the individual level, as us consumers, we can be more aware of the foods that we eat by reading both the ingredients list and the nutrition label, making it, to identify the foods that we are eating, and yes, it's helping to ensure that we are going to limit those foods that are very harmful for the body. Coming to conclusion, replacing ultra-processed foods with nutrient-dense whole foods can help your overall body health by providing your body with the essential nutrients, reducing the risk of chronic diseases, as well as increasing satiety and fullness. Today we discussed what ultra-processed foods are and how they affect the body, and poor nutrition and inadequate intake of nutrition, a decrease in satiety and fullness, as well as the increase of obesity with chronic diseases, as well as the solutions that we are able to make at the government, community, and individual level to help implement and reduce the risk of many of these problems. So before your next trip to the store, make sure to identify by reading both the ingredients list and the nutrition label to help to ensure what you are putting inside of your body. I challenge you this week: replace an ultra-processed food. This could be, a Pop-Tart, chips, anything that's very in the middle of the store, and that's long life shelving, and that has, ingredients list, it's corn syrup, and replace it with, fruit, baked chips, rice cakes, whatever it may be, something that's much more less ingredients and much more nutritional for you, and can impact your day-to-day life with much more energy. So the saying, "You are what you eat," isn't cliche, but it is a reminder that every meal that you eat is an investment on yourself and your life in general, for you and your family. As well as that, one choice that you make is going to build off of that in the future and help, hopefully change other people's lives in the future. Thank you.